Hello, welcome to week 4. This is our video if you were absent on either one or both of our synchronous days. So let's get started. So this is week 4. Our unit is actually coming to a close. We're not going to spend the rest of the term in our argumentative writing unit. So we are getting close to the finish line here. We've got Christmas break in the middle. For this week specifically, we have argument slides part 4, which is what you're looking at. And then we have a graphic organizer that I will show you what that is and how you will go about doing that. And then if you were doing honors credit, we have our first honors option for quarter 2, this term that we're in. So I can also go over that as well. So let me show you our final project for this unit. So if you click here, you will have the link to the assignment instructions and the rubric. So this is what you will get to do as our final project. You are going to show and demonstrate that you have gained skills in understanding how to craft an argument, what are the basic fundamentals of an argument, and what techniques and tools can you use in your writing to make it persuasive. So you will choose between one of the following. You're not doing both, you're just doing one. You will either do a persuasive essay, you will write a persuasive essay, or you will create a advertisement, something that you would see in the Super Bowl, and you need to have a written script with that. So let me tell you what each of those entails so you can make a decision on what you would like to do. For the Super Bowl ad and script, you are going to choose a product to sell. It could be something that's real, like Gatorade, or it could be something that doesn't exist yet, but maybe you have an idea for some sort of product, something that you would invent. It has to be a legit invention though. And you will advertise your product in one of the following ways. So do not mistake these 2 bullet points for being requirements that you do both. You get to pick. You will pick between either creating a magazine one-pager, like some sort of ad you would see in a magazine, or if you want to get even more creative with technology, you could record a 30 to 60 second commercial video. But no matter which one of those options you choose for the Super Bowl ad, you will write a written script in addition to that. And I will show you a little bit more as to what those requirements are going to entail. If you are choosing a persuasive essay, you will pick a topic, you will craft an argument around it, and then you will use, rhetorical elements, ethos, pathos, and logos to persuade your audience. When you choose your topic, I want you to think about the following questions to make sure that you are picking something that will actually have a means to be persuaded on. Okay, so can I write enough about this topic to meet the requirements in the rubric? Will it be easy enough for me to find sources to talk about this topic, to find evidence? And is this topic actually debatable? Because sometimes we might have an idea, but does this work for the specific requirements of this assignment? For honors, there will be honors credit embedded into the final. So it's not going to be like where we had our poetry project and you had to do both poems. For this one, there will be specific honors options for each, either the ad or the essay. So no matter which ones you choose, you will have an opportunity to get honors credit with your choice. And then to help us, because I'm all about support and I want to give you what you need to be successful, during week 5, which is next week, December 15th through the 18th, we will have check-in conferences. So that will be half of what we're doing for our synchronous call. The purpose of these check-in conferences is for you to tell me what your ideas are. It's kind of a brainstorming session. I learned that through our check-in conferences for the poetry unit that a lot of you just needed help getting started instead of help editing your poem. So that's kind of what our goal is going to be for these conferences. And you're going to have a graphic organizer that you will have to bring to our meeting, and I will show you what that is in just a second. So keep scrolling to see the rubrics. So if you're doing the persuasive essay, this is what you will be required to do. So the essay demonstrates the use of ethos, pathos, and logos to present an argument and persuade a specific viewpoint of that argument. You're trying to persuade somebody of a conclusion that you've reached. The essay needs to include a minimum of 2 of each. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So technically that means you need 10. 2 of each. You need 2 evidence that involve numbers, 2 that involve facts. You need 2 quotes, 2 examples, and 2 analogies. The essay you have to have a clear introduction and concluding paragraph. And the format is going to be an APA. If you click this link, it'll bring you to a website that'll give you information about that format. Times New Roman, 12-point font, double spaced, and a minimum of 2 pages long. I know you might be looking at that and go, why APA? We're supposed to be doing MLA. I'm going to help you out by asking you to do APA because when you get into college, you will never be asked just to use MLA. You're going to actually use lots of different formats for citing sources, and this is actually one that's pretty popular. So APA format. The honors option for the essay, you will need to, in addition to everything above, you're going to need to provide a counterclaim in your essay with at least 3 types of evidence to support it. So that could be 1 quote, 1 fact, and 1 analogy, or 1 number, 1 example, and 1 analogy. You decide, but there has to be 3 forms of evidence. And instead of being 2 pages minimum, if you're doing the honors option, you will need to have at least 3 pages minimum. Okay? Including sources. So that's for the essay. The argument unit project rubric for the Super Bowl ad and the script. So this advertisement is going to demonstrate your use of pathos, ethos, and logos with specific persuasive writing techniques to present a product and persuade the audience to buy that product. So the advertisement is either going to be, again, a magazine 1-pager. And with that, if that's what you're choosing to do, if you really love art and you love to draw and paint, you could totally go that route and submit it to me by taking a picture of what you created. Or if you would like some more technology use because you're not super confident in your ability to draw, there's a website called Canva, not Canvas, Canva, and I use it all the time. If you would like me to give you some tips on how to use it to create your 1-pager, I will absolutely do that. Or you may create a 30 to 60 second video commercial. With this, it needs to have all the other requirements that you're going to see, especially thinking about all the ad videos that we're going to be watching this week in week 4, excuse me. So either way, if you're doing a video or if you're doing a 1-pager, your ad has to include a written script. So for the script itself, you need to have a minimum of 1 form of the following piece of evidence. So there would be 5 total that you would need. 1 number, 1 fact, 1 quote, 1 example, and 1 analogy. You can do more than that, but that is the bare minimum. And then again, the written script is going to be same format, APA, and it'll be a minimum of 1 page long. For the honors option for this advertisement, the Super Bowl one, you are going to include a counterclaim in the script. You could include it in your video or your magazine 1-pager, kind of like Verizon didn't tell you that one commercial we watched. But it needs to definitely be in the script. Example, don't choose this other brand. You shouldn't stick with these guys. You should be our customer. Something like that, okay? A counterclaim. So those are the instructions and the rubric. Again, if you follow this rubric to a T, you will get full credit. If you do everything that is asked of you in this middle column for whatever choice you're making, you will get full credit. If you want to go above and beyond and blow me away, I wouldn't mind that. I know that I have many of you that are capable of doing that. So those are our instructions for our argumentative unit project. And then the graphic organizer. So let's go to, all right, so in Canvas, going to our modules and we see week 4. It looks really long, but let me explain. So we have our agenda, EQs, learning objectives, all of that as normal up at the top. Our argument slides are right here under synchronous. And then under asynchronous, we have several things. We have a Super Bowl ad graphic organizer, and a persuasive essay. So because you are only doing one for your project, you only need to do one graphic organizer, and it needs to match the one you're doing. So if you're choosing to write the essay, you will do this graphic organizer, and you do not need to worry about this other one, okay? Also, the final project instructions that I just showed you are linked right here if you want to look at them again. And the topic bank ideas, these are all of those ideas that you submitted to me last week, are listed here. So if you're thinking, I have no idea what I want to do, I'm not sure where to start, look at this. You definitely don't have to choose from this list, but it might be helpful to kind of help you brainstorm a little bit. And then this is something that I will show you in a second in the slides, but it's linked here as well. So let's look at the graphic organizer. Let's look at the Super Bowl one first. So again, you are only choosing between one. You are not writing an essay and doing the Super Bowl ad. You are choosing one, which means you only need to do one graphic organizer. And this is what you will turn into me before we have our check-in conferences next week in week 5. So let's take a look at these. Click here. So this is your graphic organizer. It's done through Google Slides because this is the easiest way to do it. So if you look here, if you are doing the Super Bowl ad, this is the one you will fill out. I'm going to walk you through, this is where you will edit your own responses, but over here, the second slide is an example to show you what I'm looking for. So let's say that I am choosing to do a Super Bowl ad and I want to advertise the Cool Blue Thirst Quencher Gatorade drink, okay? You need to tell me what it is at least. If you want to find a picture, you can totally do that like I did. You don't have to, but definitely tell me what it is you're advertising. And then from these 3 categories, ethos, logos, and pathos, you need to tell me which one are you really going to lean into, because you could absolutely include all 3 categories of persuasion, but there has to be one that you're kind of really trying to emphasize. So for example, I'm going to pick ethos. That's that credibility of who really knows what they're talking about, right? So I circled it with just going up here and using the shape button. And then the second category, you need to try to brainstorm and think about what types of evidence could you use in your advertisement and in your script, because this is a requirement in the rubric. So I've listed them here as a reminder. We have facts, numbers, quotes, examples, and analogies. So after I did some thinking, this is what I came up with. I'm listing which ones. I have quotes, analogies, and examples. And then in parentheses, I have kind of just a beginning idea of what I could do. It doesn't mean that I have to stick to this. It's not written in stone, but it's an idea. So if I'm doing a quote, I could think about a professional athlete that would use this drink or drink it and say, Kevin Durant says, the Cool Blue Thirst Quencher is the best ever, blah, blah, blah. I don't really know what I'm going to say yet, but I know that I have thought of an athlete and I could use them in a quote and try to find a quote. Analogies, this could be using that metaphor or simile. Just like KD, you can be blank and fill in the rest later. Examples, professional athletes drink Gatorade. This is pointing to a very specific example, an anecdote, a story maybe. So again, you are not trying to be perfect with your graphic organizer. You are just trying to come up with some ideas to get you going, and you can refine and edit later. It's just a way to process and think about ideas. And then the second or the last column, list the techniques you want to use and how you will do so. So we have, these are the techniques that I'm going to go over with you in the slides. Fear, bandwagon, testimonial, beautiful people, repetition, slogans, plain folks, and transference. So I could come up with more, but for now, this is what I have. I could use bandwagon, testimonial, and slogan. Bandwagon, all athletes drink Gatorade. Everybody's doing it. Everybody drinks Gatorade. A testimonial, I could use a popular athlete, a celebrity, somebody that drinks it before every game and show a picture or find a picture. And then a slogan, nothing beats Gatorade, something that would be a catchy little saying that I could use, right? So this is the example of the Super Bowl ad graphic organizer. If this is what you're choosing to do for your final project, this is the only graphic organizer you will need to complete, and you will need to do it before our check-in conference with me, because then you will show me what you got and we can talk through it, okay? So that's the Super Bowl ad. Let's go back to Persuasive essay. So if you're choosing to write the essay, this is the graphic organizer you would use. Again, this is to help you brainstorm ideas and think about what you could use, because this is part of the writing process. It might seem like extra work, but I promise you this is part of the writing process. Okay, so we have again, it looks just like the other one. This one is our example that I'm going to show you of what I'm looking for. So first of all, we have a goal and a thesis. This is kind of an outline of a typical essay, a goal and a thesis, and then 3 claims. You could have more than that for sure, because remember, I'm only asking you 2 pages minimum, 3 if you're doing honors. So if you had more than that, it would probably take more than those pages, but that's okay. But you need to have at least 3. And then from those, you're going to have evidence. Remember, those are facts, numbers, analogies, examples. Those are what you're going to put here. And then your conclusion is going to, again, kind of summarize and rephrase and remind your reader before they leave of what is it that you're trying to persuade them of. So let's look at an example. Also, really quick, if you look down here in the comment section, if you are already starting to find sources, websites, articles, documents, keep track of them here. Just put them in your graphic organizer in the comments so that you can remember where those are at, okay? So goal and thesis. This is a topic that I decided to use for if I was doing an essay. All students in the United States need to become fluent in a second language before they graduate high school. That is the point that I'm trying to argue and persuade as being correct, because somebody could say the opposite and that would be a totally different persuasive essay, right? So my claims, for now, this is what I've thought of. The reason for it, why should they become fluent? There are more career opportunities. It enhances your brain's memory and other skills. So I'm trying to look at, like, scientifically, how is it beneficial? And then it fosters empathy for other cultures. So these are just 3 claims that I have. I can absolutely flesh them out, edit them, make them a little bit more clear. But for now, this is just what I've thought of. And then for the sake of time, have shown you, you will need to come up with 3 forms of evidence, but I just have 1 for now. So 4 out of 5 new U.S. jobs are from foreign trade. So if you are bilingual or multilingual, you will have more career opportunities because there's more jobs in that kind of area. It enhances your brain's memory. It also strengthens multitasking. So you're kind of going deeper into that area, this claim. Fosters empathy. It prepares for changes in society. So you can talk about kind of historically how society has changed and evolved and how that impacts your empathy, right? So my conclusion would be taking my thesis and my goal and rephrasing it with reminding my audience they need to become fluent in a second language before they graduate high school because, right? So you're reminding us of everything you said here. So again, if you're doing the persuasive essay, this is what you will need to complete before our check-in conference. And remember, you don't need to be perfect. You're not writing your whole essay right now. You're just trying to brainstorm ideas and come up with elements to this that would help you get started, because that's the hardest part, is just getting started. So let me go back to our modules one more time. Let me show. Okay, actually, if you are doing honors credit, you'll notice that it doesn't show up here because I found a way to assign an honors assignment only for the students that are actually interested in it. So if for some reason you don't see it on yours and you are interested in earning honors credit, please talk to me and I will walk you through that assignment instructions. So that is kind of the overview of this week. I have another video linked that will allow you to see me going over the slides, but I needed to go over all the instructions for those assignments. So if you have any questions, email me.